Halo 2 was one of the most anticipated video game releases of the 2000s, racking up 1.5 million pre-order copies, hundreds of pre-release events orchestrated by Microsoft, and even an elaborate viral marketing campaign.
It all started in mid-July when a mysterious package was sent out, a jar of honey containing 9 letters that, when arranged properly, spelled out "I love bees."
The hype had no limits, with players eagerly awaiting multiplayer now utilizing Xbox Live. Gameplay trailers showed expanded mechanics like dual wielding, and everyone wanted to know how Master Chief's story continued. We're going to erase all of that from our nostalgic memories, because today we ask the question, does Halo 2 still hold up?
His armor's working fine, Johnson, so shut your chilly hole.
To answer that, we'll be analyzing different aspects of the game, focusing on gameplay mechanics, graphical fidelity, sound design, and of course, the story, to get a better picture on what Halo 2 accomplished 22 years ago and what didn't stand the test of time. Surprisingly, it's a bit complicated. Before we start, there is an important caveat. I played Halo 2 on the PC version, which is a port of the 2014 remastered console release that came to computers on May 12th of 2020. The remastered version still uses the original Halo 2 engine for the campaign, while also integrating the ability to switch over to the enhanced graphics not just during gameplay but cutscenes as well. As cool as that function is, since Saber Interactive and 343 did an amazing job bringing a more modern flair to the visuals, it's a modification of the original and won't be referenced for the graphical critiquing. So with that out of the way, what's Master Chief been up to since we last saw him? Wait, that's not Master Chief.
They called it the Pillar of Autumn.
Why was it not destroyed with the rest of their fleet?
It fled as we set fire to their planet.
Halo 2 changes the narrative a bit by starting the game off in the Covenant Holy City High Charity, which I have to think took some cojones. I mean, almost all the marketing for the game surrounded our boy in green, and from what I can remember, the separated campaigns were never revealed until the game's release. Playing the game now, this perspective shift was interesting because the player got to see the other side of the Covenant and how they viewed the events of the first game. Not only does this alien civilization have a political hierarchy involving these prophets, but this elite standing trial was apparently a commander trying to protect the ring during combat evolved, which, didn't go so well. During the trial, there is more of an overtone than under about how religious the Covenant are, and I give the writing team credit for exploring that theme throughout the campaign. But for now, this elite commander is found guilty of heresy for not protecting Halo, and we get our first look at what the humans are up to.
Optics, totally fried. And let's not even talk about the power supply. You know how expensive this gear is, son?
Tell that to the Covenant.
I was a bit confused how Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson got back to Earth after the events of Combat Evolved, but Reddit is telling me it's detailed in a book, so I'll take their word on that. Johnson and Master Chief head to their medal ceremony because we kicked so much Covenant ass last game, and en route we're introduced to Earth's shiny new defense system, which looked great in the skybox. Halo 2 graphically whipsaws between impressive graphical scaling for its time and then some textures that look like they were made in 1999. Regardless, during the Chief's ceremony, we get snippets of the Covenant's heresy trial, and you can't get more column A, column B than this.
Gentlemen, we're lucky to have you back.
Let him be an example for all who would break our covenant.
You look nice.
Thank you.
But not everything is peachy on the human side either, as alarms start blaring announcing Covenant ships appearing just out of the range of our orbital defenses, and we have a battle station to defend. Armed with your trusty and overpowered battle rifle, we get our first taste of combat, which very much holds up to this day despite a lack of modern commonplace features. You won't be finding power-ups, perks, or upgrades, and the game doesn't need them either. There is a simple complexity to Halo 2's combat, especially on harder difficulties, that's a mix of tactics, patience, and execution. You can't go guns blazing and no cover expecting to come out alive. You have to take your time with rooms or how you engage enemies, especially considering weapon choice in later levels. Some of the criticism of the game came from combat not evolving throughout the campaign, which I can understand, and I think there was enough happening away from combat that negates that point of critique, at least to a certain point. Scale is an underrated factor, whether that was watching the massive defense guns shooting Covenant ships or watching other battle stations being blown to bits by Covenant saboteurs. These moments show the scale of the battle. In the back of my mind, I kept thinking what Master Chief was experiencing on this singular station was happening on most of the 300 other orbital defense platforms. Then being tasked with finding the bomb on our station gives the player a meaningful objective, which I would argue most levels in the game do, and the addictive gameplay loop is established. It doesn't always hit, especially later in the game, but it's important to recognize now. Consistent gameplay, grand scale level design mixed with important objectives that lead the player through interesting environments. Chief disables the Covenant bomb just in time, and instead of playing it safe, we get one pretty badass cutscene. Wow, we're really early into the video and I'm going to say it, that's certified badass.
I know what you're thinking, and it's crazy.
So, stay here.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy.
Now, if you have questions about how Master Chief doesn't put a gigantic hole through the friendly ship while falling from the upper atmosphere, this is not the game for you. Earth's defenses are still engaging Covenant forces, but some have slipped through and were ordered to take care of them. Oddly enough, one of the prophets, the shrimp-looking guys from the opening cutscene, is on the main ship that descended to Earth, and is sending an SOS. Why the Prophet of Regret is on Earth? Well, we gotta find out, and Chief is tasked with getting on the carrier and capturing the Covenant leader. And like most things in the Halo universe, it's not a walk in the park, as we're intercepted by the Scarab and crash land in the outskirts of Cairo. Outskirts/Metropolis is an interesting level visually and mechanically. For 2004, the number of buildings in the background and foreground showed off impressive density. Then factoring in how this compared to the first game, which leaned into larger, more sparse levels, was felt. Mechanically, Outskirts Metropolis takes you from an open courtyard fight to close-quarter engagements, and then long vehicle sequences. I think epic is the right term, especially this being just the second level of the game. Outskirts also reinforces our engagement loop, how going from point A to point B wouldn't feel as good if it wasn't for the visuals, like seeing the main city getting closer, evading obstacles in our drifting warthog, or something I haven't touched on yet, Halo 2's music. If Halo's one theme was iconic, Halo 2's soundtrack goes beyond that, and is probably in my top 5 best video game albums. There are just so many tracks that you'll be bobbing your head to while in the thick of action, then experience reprieve with some somber, intense segments. It's not a short soundtrack either, boasting more than 100 different themes and variations, all having their distinct areas for effect. We finally make it into the main city, despite being in this slow tank. Seriously, this thing was like a slug. Even though there wasn't a lot of environmental details around the city blocks, mostly just lampposts and some stairs, it made use of my imagination. I know I said we'd leave the nostalgia at the front door, but I wonder if we remember older games being more detailed because we ourselves put in those details. Nowadays, modern AAA gaming has focused on realism, especially with environments, which can be really compelling. But there might be something to say about the player having their own take on more abstract visuals. What do you think? Maybe that's why the next moment hits so hard. We've just driven a tank, laying siege to any idiot Covenant who came our way, and then see the Scarab one-shot the same vehicle is kind of an awe-inspiring visual, in every meaning of the phrase. Plus, how it just walks over Master Chief and the remaining Marines like we're ants was a neat touch. Another neat touch was trying to disable this goddamn menace. Jumping on top of it to disable it from the inside was so much fun, and truly solidified Master Chief as a one-man army.
That's right, you mothers! Run!
I don't know if it was the Scarab's destruction or us kicking Covenant ass, but the Prophet of Regret starts his escape by initializing a warp inside the city. At the last second, we jump with them as the energy from the warp blows up Cairo Akira style, and the fate of Master Chief and crew will be resolved later. We have another campaign to start. Stripped of his armor and rank, the elite commander is dragged by the brutes to foreseeably forever jail, but it turns out the prophets are not done with him yet. Summoned to the mausoleum of the Arbiter, the prophets give Thel Vadami, yeah, that's the elite's actual name, how you would know that other than looking at the wiki, I don't know. Well, they give Thel a choice. Become an Arbiter, a title rank associated with batshit crazy missions that usually result in death to restore one's honor, or rot in jail for the rest of his life. Some of the previous missions the Arbiters fulfilled were about bringing different races into the Covenant, like hunters or grunts. Again, seeing the other side of the coin, or how the Covenant society functions, at least politically, gives the events of the first game a bit more weight, and continues the intriguing subplot of Halo 2. Now dubbed Arbiter, accepting his role, thank God because I know I butchered Thel Vadami's pronunciation, our mission is revealed, to quell a rebellious elite claiming that the prophets are lying to the Covenant about the Great Journey. Before we depart, I do want to add how awesome Keith David is as a voice actor. I've covered a lot of games with him, and each time he gives such a performance regardless of the genre, and the Arbiter is no exception.
What would you have your Arbiter do?
With the Prophet's blessing, we're sent on our Spec Ops mission to assassinate the heretical leader. As I mentioned before, the writers wanted to focus on the religious extremes of the Covenant society. We see the soldiers pledging allegiance to the Prophets and their own oath. It's kind of ironic how the soldiers are chanting, "Heretics are not worthy of pity nor mercy," as they're paired with the Arbiter, who was not only declared a heretic in front of the Council, but was branded one too. Yet these complexities have to wait, as the mission takes precedent and is giving off vibes.
This armor suits you, but it cannot hide that mark.
Nothing ever will.
You are the Arbiter, the will of the prophets. But these are my elites. Their lives matter to me, yours does not.
That makes two of us.
This is not some Covenant carrier ship dropping grunts left and right. This is equivalent to Sam Fisher taking out a terrorist leader.
We are the arm of the prophets, Arbiter, and you are the blade. Be silent and swift, and we shall quell this heresy without incident.
The idea of being an elite Covenant hit squad was enthralling, and then you see your weaponry. Oh boy, the energy sword is still one of the best weapons ever created in video game history. A lot of weapons in this game have great sound design, but there's nothing quite like hearing your energy sword being unsheathed. On top of that, you have a cloaking function, albeit a substandard one that needs to recharge. Despite that, cloaking to sneak past enemies and slashing them in the back will never get old, and if I could, I would just try to finish both campaigns with just the energy sword. The floating base is filled with heretical followers both inside and outside. We get this okay sequence flying a Banshee around. I say it's okay because the visual is cool, yet piloting the Banshees in this game is not as responsive as I hoped. You can't boost and fire at the same time, so I'd mostly just stay in the same position when attacking aerial enemies. Even when you're moving, it's not really fast, and I felt like I was more of a sitting duck than an elusive high-tech flying machine. And that's not the only minor complaint I have about this level, because further into the facility, we're introduced to the new and more annoying Flood. There is a caveat though, because how they set up the Flood is great and felt like a horror game. Darkened rooms, green glowing vats, the music, it worked almost perfectly. What I found annoying about the Flood is that they are hard to deal with, especially on higher difficulties. They take so many goddamn shots no matter what the gun. Energy swords work well, but after 6 hits, you'll need to switch to another gun. I didn't know if it was just me or someone else could share their experience, but Halo 2 felt like I never had enough ammo in either of the campaigns. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, since it made me search out for different weapon comps and more precise aiming, but I did find it aggravating at times, feeling like I was always one clip away from empty. After killing what felt like an armada of Flood and doing some brash renovating of the station, the Arbiter catches up to the heretic leader, who's not alone.
I would rather die by your hand than let the prophets lead me to slaughter.
Who has taught you these lies? The Oracle.
Hey, it's our friend Guilty Spark. Maybe not so much a friend. The two elites duke it out, and the Arbiter prevails, but before the little guy can explain what the Halos are truly used for, Tartarus, the brute we're building an assorted history with, takes him away. Back with Master Chief, Regret's carrier appears with our ship and a couple of buildings that tagged along. To the disbelief of everyone on the crew, including Cortana, Regret's ship has taken us to another Halo installation. Why the Prophet has come here, or why he tried to solo Earth, is still unknown, and there is only one way to find out. God, I love that frickin' base.
Possibly make any more noise? I guess so.
Also, the water textures are kind of blowing me away. I think they look marvelous. Okay, so Chief traverses another Halo terrain, blasting every alien he sees with a little help from the USMC vehicle Volt. We see holograms of the Prophet of Regret talking about the Binding Covenant, oh that's where they got the word, between elites and the Prophets. Looking at the franchise game by game, the subtext was a bit confusing at this point. How the Forerunner Transcendence is the same belief as the Great Journey, or at least I hope I'm getting that right, like activating the Halo array will bring some second coming to the Covenant, when in reality it will just blow up the galaxy. Sidebar here, I'm no expert in Halo lore, and while researching for the video, I was kind of stunned by how much information is within the universe. I'll be open about how after Halo 3 or ODST, I kind of lost touch with the franchise. So spending hours reading about the canon timeline or narratives from the books was a bit jarring. So if I jump the gun on something or get something slightly wrong, it's probably why. Speaking of activating the ring, that's exactly what Regret is planning, but with our knowledge from our first encounter with these devices, we know he'll need the Index. If Keyes can grab it first and we take out the Prophet, there's a chance at a happy ending. I just don't know how we'll get back to Earth. I enjoyed this next visual reprieve so much. Going underwater was beautiful in its own way, and we get some more information about Regret's actions on Earth. Apparently, the Prophet didn't know Earth was the human home planet, and didn't think there would be any resistance to whatever he was trying to get there. Even though it doesn't get answered in Halo 2, it's putting the pieces together for Halo 3 and beyond. As I was saying about liking the underwater moment, it marks an odd shift graphically that they tried to address in the remaster. I'm not going to change over at this point, but the original's lighting has some major problems. Maybe it was better on a CRT TV with the original Xbox, but I can tell you no matter what my brightness was set at, from this point forward, most of the levels were unbearably dark. It stinks because there were a lot of neat environmental details that I noticed, but for the most part, I had to squint my eyes and turn up the gamma to 9.5, and I hope it comes across the YouTube wavelength or whatever. Anyways, the Prophets have caught wind of Regret's discovery and have sent their fleets, plus High Charity, their capital city. Apart from the stellar visual, seriously, that looks fantastic. It's not looking good for our odds at stopping the activation. We do find Regret, and I kid you not, punch him in the head a couple of times to kill him. It's not the most engaging boss fight. Master Chief escapes the facility as Covenant forces blow it up, and I guess they also wanted Regret killed for some reason. And Chief might be in a bigger frying pan.
This is not your grave. But you are welcome in it.
Back with the Arbiter, there's a big political shakeup happening, as the remaining prophets have changed their holy guard from elites to the brutes. Brimming with confidence, knowing that there are multiple Halo arrays in the galaxy, and closer to their salvation as ever, being on top of one, the prophets task the Arbiter to find the Index with Tartarus's help. Even though the Arbiter doesn't want to admit it, hearing that Master Chief, the guy who screwed up his military career, is Planet's side kind of makes him want to get payback. The next level, Sacred Icon, has some great aesthetics throughout its segments, including the skybox at the start of the level and traversing between facilities. The Flood characters also had an amazingly creepy design, taking on the look of their unwilling hosts. However, my gosh, the amount of Flood that you need to deal with during this level and beyond was too much. Corridor after corridor, open plane after open plane, the Flood would not stop coming, and they didn't get easier to deal with. I can't count how many times I died on low shields to pod infectors or getting rushed by Shotgun Jim. Fear him, fear him. Some sections were impossible to see enemies and you had to utilize your radar effectively, which was cool until the checkpoint system forgot to work and you lost 15 minutes of gameplay. I got over it, yeah. As we come closer to the ending of the game, the levels got more expansive, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Most engagements boiled down to defend against waves of Flood, survive corridors filled with Flood, or defend against waves of Flood on a moving object. Was our engagement loop still there? Well, not really. The uniqueness of the first half of the game when it came to level design and environmental atmosphere didn't matriculate to the later missions. The actual mechanics of gameplay were honestly getting a bit stale when the other gears became stale as well. Playing this today, there needed to be a second wind, something that elevated the core mechanics or at least changed the pacing in a new way. And seriously, what's with the brightness? Keyes and Johnson retrieve the Index right as the Arbiter and Tartarus get there. The Brute captures both of the humans and begins the coup d'etat on the elites, starting with the Arbiter himself.
A bloody fate awaits you and the rest of your incompetent race. And I, Tartarus, chieftain of the Brutes, will send you. The prophets learn of this. They will take your head when they learn. Fool. They ordered me to do it.
Our next mission has both Master Chief and the Arbiter meeting the Gravemind, the sentient form of the Flood who I guess has been on this installation for centuries. It's an important narrative moment because the sentient life form tells the Arbiter that the Great Journey is a lie, and what he viewed as oracles are just programmed detonators for galactic destruction. The only reason why the Gravemind is having this conversation is that famous phrase, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." Obviously, having the ring blown up due to the Covenant's religious fervor isn't on the Flood's bucket list, and neither is it on Master Chief's. The Arbiter isn't convinced, but that doesn't stop the Gravemind from teleporting the two heroes to separate locations in order to find the Index and stop the activation. The Chief gets sent straight to High Charity, which causes a kerfuffle since we're seen as some living demon. The Prophets aren't helped out by the fact that they've induced a civil war between the Covenant factions, and it was fun to pick your battles, either letting the Brutes and Elites fight it out on their own, or blowing up everyone. I quickly want to mention that we get a very 2000s rock medley fighting in the Mausoleum of the Arbiter. This is one musical piece I was taken aback by, and it felt like I was in a laughable 2000s music video than a mature video game. Tartarus brings the Prophets the Index, but by golly, that's the Flood music. Turns out the Gravemind wasn't such a great partner and crash-landed the Amber Clad, the ship we came here with, into High Charity with loads of Flood on board. The Prophet of Mercy is killed by one of the parasites, even though they could have easily pulled it off, but I get it if the Prophet of Truth is trying a hostile takeover on the whole shaboodle. Meanwhile, the Arbiter is sent to the activation facility accompanied by his fellow castaway elites. I liked the story so far and where it was heading, but I couldn't help but feel like things were rushed a bit, especially compared to the first game. We've ping-ponged our way between levels with a lot of the story connections coming from outside knowledge, and it didn't surprise me while reading up on the development of the game that lots of content was cut on all fronts. Maybe it was the hype after the success of Combat Evolved that obfuscated the ailments of Halo 2 back then. Now looking at the game through the lens of many years past, the problems or quirks of the campaign are more noticeable, and are addressed for Halo 3, but that's for a different video. Tartarus and Keyes make it to the activation facility as we cut back to the Master Chief learning that the Prophet of Truth is going to attack Earth with the full power of Covenant forces, even if there's a slight flood infestation. Cortana convinces Master Chief to hunt down the Prophet and somehow believe in the Arbiter to stop Tartarus from activating the ring. If the Elite can't stop the Brute, then Cortana will have to self-destruct the Amber Clad, taking High Charity and the ring out with it. I had to laugh that Cortana does acknowledge this is the same way they dealt with the first ring, but hey, if it works, it works.
Not a very original plan, but we know it'll work.
Okay, seriously, can anyone see what the hell is going on? The only light is from the Jackal shield or my Brute blaster and plasma pistol. Regardless, Chief makes it to Truth's ship, but leaves Cortana on High Charity in the event that the Arbiter doesn't succeed. But why do they trust him to stop the activation if the last time the Arbiter was told the Great Journey was a lie, he rejected that? It made me a bit confused when the Gravemind sends a psychic communique to him saying, "There's still time to stop this," and he immediately says, "I have to stop this." Then Johnson somehow got free of the Brutes off screen and takes over a Scarab? Like, what's going on? We get another vehicle portion trying to defend the Scarab as it's our only way to break into the control room, and I have to say, I was pretty bored by the gameplay at this point. The Scarab was so slow you were idly firing more than moving around in the Banshee. It felt like an on-rail shooter. The only moments of mobility came from diving down to grab a healthy Banshee. In contrast to the Metropolis mission that had the backdrop to sustain long vehicle portions, we're just in a gorge without any visual enhancements. Finally, we get access to the base and confront Tartarus, who is not happy with the history lesson Guilty Spark tells, revealing the truth about the rings and their designers.
The sacred rings, what are they?
Weapons of last resort, built by the Forerunners to eliminate potential flood hosts, thereby rendering the parasite harmless.
And those who made the rings? What happened to the Forerunners?
After exhausting every other strategic option, my creators activated the rings. They and all additional sentient life in 3 radii of the galactic center died as planned. Would you like to see the relevant data?
Tartarus, the prophets have betrayed us. No, Arbiter! The great journey has begun.
Tartarus is too focused on taking over the Elite's position and starts the activation sequence, disregarding everything he just heard. This starts a boss battle with the Brute that wasn't great but wasn't terrible. I just didn't think the game would end like this. Well, for me, there was a bit of a hiccup about my ending. For some unknown reason, this fatal crash glitch has affected the PC version of the game for quite some time. I tried everything, validating files, deleting certain files, but nothing worked, which was annoying to say the least. And then I remembered the controversy on how Halo 2 ended.
You mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Key stops the activation, but a failsafe has been initiated, powering up every installation in the galaxy awaiting a remote signal. Where that signal originates from, dun 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 dun, it's on Earth. And you'd have to wait almost 3 years for the next game, which nowadays isn't a terrible amount of time to wait for a continuation of a franchise, looking at all of you. But if you're replaying the Halo franchise now, I think Halo 2's ending while having Halo 3 loaded up and ready to go worked decently well. And I look forward to covering Halo 3 soon. So what's the verdict on Halo 2 now, in 2026? Despite gameplay getting repetitive as level design and systems became stale in the latter half of the game, the core mechanics, overarching story, and sound design hold up extremely well to this day, making the campaign an easy sell if you've never experienced it before, or it's been a while since your last foray. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the campaign, what you thought of it back in the day in comparison to if you've played it recently. Did you agree with my thoughts on the different aspects of the game, or should I be tried for heresy? Anyways, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you're not subscribed and want more content like this, well, click that button down below. Hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you next time, where we'll experience a Souls game? Oh, should be good.